Hello there, and welcome to another episode of the Divination Detectives. Today, we are going to do a quick little update on the Warren estate. So, if we remember, we did an episode a few back about Mat Riffe and Elton Cassie, who just purchased this year the house and the haunted collection of the Warrens. I kind of wanted to peek in on this because I was very curious, right? Because here we have, these famous YouTubers, quote unquote, who purchased this property, and what they're trying to do, as we said before, is have like an Airbnb set up so that people can come in, stay, and witness paranormal activity. So it's like a haunted hotel, if you will. So I wanted to check in on that, see if there's anybody been staying there yet, and if there's any, material coming out about what's going on. So I did want to just also, as we always do, kind of run our disclaimer that we are doing this for entertainment purposes only, and we have great respect for the dead and anyone, any spirits, entities involved. We're protected from, and we just are doing this out of our own curiosity, and especially also out of the respect for the Warrens, I think, because I feel like their respect is being a little tampered with in their old home.
Hmm.
So let's look into it. So originally, I didn't find a lot of content yet. Okay. So this kind of tells me, like, I don't believe they have people staying in there yet. Right now, when we're doing this, it's the October the 24th. So I'm thinking they're going to start around Halloween was the plan. But
Okay.
since they have purchased it, there has been a few videos put up by the owners, Matt and Elton, and a couple other famous YouTubers that, were able to go there and spend some time. So what I was kind of catching is the videos that were up on YouTube. They did have some paranormal activity involved, but I'm a little bit of a skeptic on some of those methods. And as I was kind of touching with on Goron before we started, and yeah, I just you have to have a lot of good evidence to like say that it is, especially when you're watching something on a video, right? So you want to make sure that these methods are real, the voices coming through are from spirit. It's a little hard to tell, like, if a light is coming on, if it was staged or not. So I'm just curious as to if some of this stuff is being staged to kind of like amp up their sales or just to create buzz, or if they actually have had paranormal experiences so far in the home. Another cool part was on one of the videos, there was some of the original caretakers that have worked with the Warrens. And one of the guys had really great information about some of the other objects besides Annabelle, and just really good insights on how the Warrens worked in that space.
Hmm.
And um, they spoke a lot about the protections that they have for the objects. They spoke a lot about like people blessing the area, and also there was a very clear separate area for them doing their work, having people in for classes, their
Hmm.
living spaces, and then this other area that they're calling a museum, but it's more of a collection. When the Warrens were alive, they didn't one of the guys said that naming it a museum was actually a really bad idea because those objects were never really meant for people to come and view. They were meant to be kept safe because a lot of those objects were where, yeah, like hauntings were happening. People were getting hurt, and the Warrens helped them and took those things away from them. So they weren't technically supposed to be displayed, is kind of how I felt about it. And I think that's how the Warrens have felt about it, especially when you learn about the protections and the lengths that they've gone through to make sure these objects don't hurt anyone else. So yeah, I thought we could check in, see if those things are being respected, maybe ask questions about like the activity going on now, like is it real? Is it an act? And I would also be curious to see like how those entities like that belong to the objects, how they are feeling about all this new energy and all this buzz. Because if you think about the Warrens, they're very elderly when they passed, and those objects, I think, have been sitting there basically like, just sitting there doing nothing and having no interactions for quite a long time. And now they're having a lot. So I would be curious to see if we can pick up anything on that.
Yeah,
What do you think?
sure. I think that's a good idea. Jump in and take a little bit of a look at what's going on. I think since we have another topic in mind, just to kind of a tap into what's going on with the energy in general, like briefly. I'm not gonna, since we did a full episode on this already, I think we can always do an update in the future as well if there is anything specific that jumps up, even like a part two if there is any major events. Since Alex has been really interested in seeing what happens with all of this, considering the information that came up during our episode in regards to this purchase and them now making it into a museum and I guess Airbnb for people to be able to stay over in the haunted space. So we'll see what comes up from that. But based off of everything you've said so far, there hasn't been any people staying over yet. It's basically just their own
Yeah,
investigations,
just
right?
kind of, yeah, it's like their own crew. There was this other YouTuber, I'm sorry, I forget the guy's name, but he's got like an over couple hour video on there. And he apparently did spend some time alone in the space, like with the objects.
Mm-hmm.
And he, you know, watching the video, he claims to experience some paranormal stuff. But yeah, besides the public yet, I don't believe it's started.
Okay. So I actually pulled two cards just to see what type of energy comes through.
Mhm.
And I'm using the Earth and Bone Oracle. And we have the card of adversary and the key, number 29 and 26. And very interestingly, with the adversary, the message is hard work, diligence, and progress. So I feel like they are hitting some opposition when it comes to this process. And they're definitely ruffling some feathers. And with the key, we have inner calling, clarity, intention. So it almost feels like where they are at the moment is just sort of figuring out the path, navigating through what is available to them right now, and sort of trying to, I guess, do the best that they can to prove that there is something. But it's almost like the things that they're doing is like you go on Google and search for like, oh, what device should I use for ghost hunting? And sort of the first thing that Google suggests is what you get or what you do. So it almost feels like there is a little bit of a lack in finesse and paying attention to detail. So that's I feel like one of the major things that's most likely going to shift over time, that they are going to become a bit more, I guess, detailed in their investigations and in how they approach all of this. Because I think at this point they're sort of tapping into things, connecting to things, but in any sort of attempt to communicate, I think, is also an invitation, right? Based off of our own personal experiences, I think both you and I can attest to that to some degree, that as soon as you open that door, you invite something in, right? Whatever that something is, whether it be good, positive, negative, angelic, demonic, whatever it is, you are opening a door for it. You're giving it allowance to step in. Now, considering the fact that allegedly that space is filled with things that are less than good. I know before the episode you were telling me about like gloves that have like sacred relics in them, like in each finger, and different sacred relics around the space. I would imagine that you need a lot of extra attention around that, and inviting something in could tamper with the, I guess, ecosystem that's been built by the Warrens in that space. So it feels like this is going to be refined over time, but So far so good, I would say. I think that they're on the right track. It's just I think that they're also lacking information and lacking in attention to detail and carefulness when it comes to this. Sort of like not
Yes.
taking enough precautions with dealing with this or approaching this, I guess.
I get that kind of in my cards too. And yeah, and just to double down on that on the use of relics. So for example, the Annabelle doll is in a wooden box that's soaked in holy water. Okay. And then underneath her like butt of the doll is like the whole case is filled with these blessed relics. So different, I don't know exactly what. And then you're not allowed to touch like the box or her. And they have these crazy gloves, and each finger of the glove has a different blessed relic in it. So yes, there's been some really strong wards and blessings to kind of keep this stuff at bay. And I am glad that there is still people around that, you know what I mean, to bridge the ownership gap. Like I think they're working with the right people. There's a couple that are helping them.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I was kind of asking like overall the energy. And yes, I got this Knight of Wands reverse. So I really feel like they're jumping all over the place, a little bit scattered brained. Yeah, like even like the video I watched, like they're doing a lot of like renovations, right? And getting it ready for people to stay in. So there's like a lot of different projects all going on. And then also, yeah, they're trying to record and push this and show that it is haunted. So I was kind of, yeah, a little skeptical about their methods. So I asked, like, did they actually like, communicate? And I got these cards about like rolling the dice and this sun card. So, like, I feel like they got lucky. Okay. They did make contact. They were able to, but it's like how they present it. It's still in that way that, I mean, I can't personally believe everything, but I feel like, kind of like you were just saying, like, they're going to work these things out to show that it's real and not just like camera workings or whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
But I do feel like, yeah, there is contact being made, but they're not gonna, like you said, kind of going about it in the right way. They're jumping all around. They could be making contact with they think it's Annabelle, but maybe it's something else pretending to be her. Like they
Yep.
don't they're not clear on these things. And then of course I also have this Seven of Cups, which Seven of Cups is very, yeah, we don't exactly know what's going on. This particular deck, it's like a creepy scorpionic energy. Like there's a lot of different things at play here, and they're just skimming the surface, is how I feel. I did ask, what was this other card? I got the devil card
Hmm.
for asking about this YouTuber that stayed the night.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure how to interpret that. I feel like maybe he could be misleading a little bit on some of the stuff or embellishing some of his experiences. Maybe also, I feel like the people, the entities that are interacting with him are kind of like throwing him off a little bit, and he doesn't realize. Like, kind of like what I was saying, thought he was talking to Annabelle. Well, maybe it was like he's somebody else, or yeah, something else completely that just lives in that space. Like, who knows? Maybe there's something else there that's not even attached to the to the objects. You're right. There has to be more methods that like create bigger clarity.
Yep.
And I think it's just they just lack the people. I feel like they're in kind of like the paranormal world with all their gadgets and like their lights and their EMPs and like all those, all their gadgets and technology, but they don't have like a good psychic, or they don't have, someone that is interpreting, spirits or energy reading or anything like this. So I feel like they need to open themselves up more on like a team basis and skills from the people that they're inviting in. Or if
Mm-hmm.
they're going to make more contact, like let's get some good people here. Let's get like a known psychic or a known this or something to validate them a little bit more.
Yep.
Because yeah, I'm sure when you're there, everything feels very real, but like, yeah, a lot of people can still question it. I at this point.
I would agree
Yeah.
with that. I think that they need methods that have a little bit more of accredited history, and then
Yeah.
also somebody that has like real history with this, somebody that has a little bit more of expertise in the field. Because, also just considering the fact that these are, two young men in like their late 20s, early 30s, I think, or like both of them are
Yeah.
like late 20s. So it's also the fact that not many people are gonna take them very seriously. Like, for Christ's sake, Mat Riffe is literally a comedian
Yeah.
by
I know.
trade. So, trying to take a comedian seriously kind of feels like a joke. So I think that's a big thing when it comes to all of this, and that's probably going to be one of the biggest turns in this situation over time is once they have people on that have more accreditation that can actually attest to what's going on, and then also just for the two of them to change their approach to not be so willy-nilly about inviting things in, but to be a bit more careful as they show that a bit more, that there is a sense of, I don't want to say defensiveness, but a certain guard and a certain approach that shows a bit more respect and just carefulness in regards to how they handle these things. It's going to become better.
And I actually also was just kind of thinking like, what is going to be their challenge coming up? Like based on this energy.
Mm-hmm.
This is crazy. I have this card that says storm warning. So
Oh,
we have a warning coming up. And I said, clarify, like what's the warning about? And look at this card. It's a card with all these doorways.
ooh.
So the portals, and this card is talking about adjacent possibilities. So to me, it's like they're going to be focusing on one thing, but they're not considering something else. And it's going to open up this portal, this door. Because I also got the Ace of Wands. Like, that's crazy. I feel like something is going to come out
Mm-hmm.
and they're not going to be able to handle it, or it could be like harmful to the people staying there. But it's
Yep.
like it's just getting started. Like I said, like this energy of waking these objects up. I feel like it's not a good idea,
And it's
in
sort of
my
like,
personal opinion.
yeah. And
And these cards are showing this. It's like watch out for these adjacent things that you're not considering, because the adjacent card came upside down, and this Ace of Wands, it's like it's going to start a spark. It's going to start a new path of energy, really.
yeah. And if you think
Um,
about it, it could be a perfect hiding place for an entity. Because anything and
yes.
everything that this new entity does could be just, oh, it's Annabelle, or is this other thing that we have in the collection that could be
Yeah.
causing this, and then at the end of the day, it's something completely different.
And then what if like so one of the guy that stayed, the YouTuber that stayed there, he was in the collection room apparently alone, and like one of the rules about going in there is to not go in there alone. So it's like they're already messing with this. They're messing with the rules. And those rules are there for a reason, because what happens if he walks out of there and he doesn't like cleanse his energy? There's no sage being burned, there's no Reiki clearing it off. Like there's going to be things I think coming out of there that have not been able to get out before.
Yep,
And it shows it really with this storm warning and like the literal doors on this card.
quite literally, yeah.
And the baby also, that's confirmation. He's like, and it's not good.
We're definitely gonna keep tabs on this as we go forward. Alex has been really diligent about checking in and making updates to me as well personally, and like, oh, this is happening. I just saw this, and I watched this or I read this. So we are gonna keep on top of this because I think it's current, it's fascinating, and it's also in the sphere of paranormal. It's a very big topic in the just community of people who do go out ghost hunting or who have accredited Lorraine and Ed as eligible, ghost hunter, or somebody that has accreditation, that they have a history, that they are the real deal, I guess.
Mm.
So we're definitely gonna give you updates as soon as we have any more news. If you're interested in that, do let us know as well. in the comments below or on our social media. Let us know. We want to hear more as there is new information coming up. But in the meantime, I wanted to jump into another story, which I know that this might not have been the smartest idea, but I have come across this case a while back and I was fascinated by it. But I just wanted us to tap in really quickly with like two or three questions just to see kind of a first impressions, and maybe we can do like a part two as well with this, because the story in itself is actually quite long, so this is kind of the shortest possible abbreviation of the story. And this is actually about the Springfield Three case, which involves a mysterious disappearance of three women. So it's a very, very famous case and a very big case, and there's a lot of different details. So this is very condensed. If you want to know more, go look it up. There is videos, there is documentaries, there is articles, and all this different information out there in regards to images, in regards to what happened, the storyline, everything else. Again, this is very, very condensed. We have three women. First is Cheryl Lewitt, 47, her daughter Suzanne or Susie Steeter, 19, and Susie's friend Stacy McCall, who was 18, from Lewitt's home in Springfield, Missouri on June 7th, 1992, that they disappeared. So Susie and Stacy had just graduated high school and were last seen around 2:15 a.m. after leaving a graduation party to spend the night at Cheryl's house. The next morning, friends and family discovered the house unlocked, but the three women were gone. Critically, there were almost no signs of a struggle. Yet all of their personal belongings, including their cars, purses, keys, and money, were left behind. The only physical anomaly, was a shattered porch light globe. Compounding the issue, a strange voicemail on the answering machine, which people believed could have been a clue, was accidentally erased by the family member. That was a huge part of the case as well. Despite extensive investigation, including assistance from the FBI and numerous tips, their whereabouts and remains have never been found. The case remains one of Missouri's most puzzling cold cases, which with theories ranging from random abduction to the involvement of persons of interest, such as convicted kidnapper Robert Craig Cox, who claimed in 1997 that he knew the woman had been murdered. So again, this is very, very, very shortened, condensed for the sake of us covering two different topics in this episode. And there is again so much more detailed. One of the key things in this entire thing that I feel like was a huge misstep was once family and friends discovered that they were not there, they actually started to clean up the house, which is basically treated as the crime place or where they were abducted from. That's all of their belongings are there, everything is there. They actually started to clean the house, potentially ruining any sort of evidence that might have been there, any fingerprints or anything left by a kidnapper or whatever. And yeah, so that's kind of the short story and abbreviated story of the Springfield Three. So I see Alex is shuffling, so I'm going to grab my cards as well to say.
Yes, I am shuffling. A very interesting story. Yeah, and I can understand like why it went cold and why is the family tampering with the evidence? This is crazy.
I think they just came in, saw that, everything was
That it
as
was
it
like
was. Yeah, somebody was listening to the voicemail, and apparently at that point, I've never dealt with voicemail, so you might probably know more about that.
it's
Um,
1992, right? So
yeah,
it's like,
so
yeah, it's like a little machine. It's like a
you listen
tape.
to it, and then it disappears, like it's erased, basically, is what
Yeah.
they said. So they did that, erased it, heard it that it sounded suspicious, but that's about it. And then yeah, they just started to clean the house before the police came, and like forensics and all of that stuff was done. Like they, not all of it, but they cleaned some of it.
Okay. This is odd for me because I'm getting like female energy, like motherly energy, like as having some responsibility in this. I got the Queen of Cups and the Chariot.
Okay.
It's not the way I thought it was going to go. And I'm like,
Okay.
okay, who's the guy who got them? But I'm getting motherly energy, like as responsible.
Okay. Yeah.
And I
Queen.
also got like, so what I got was, yeah, I got the Chariot, I got the Queen of Cups and Justice. And in this deck, there's like literally somebody like chopping off the head of a bird
Yep.
in this deck. So it feels like it was something was planned even. What are you getting?
Okay. So this is basically we are here. We are here mind-wise. We are
Okay.
connected. Because I was basically expecting the same thing, like, oh, there is a guy came through, pointed a gun. It's like, get in the car. I'm gonna take you somewhere.
Yeah.
Since like no blood, nothing like that is found. Like they weren't murdered, at least not there, if they were
Right.
potentially. So nothing happened to them physically there, maybe like just getting tied up or something, but taken away. I asked the question in two parts. So, who is kind of the responsible party for their disappearance? And then we have what happened to them. And in the first part of who's the responsible one, we have the Queen of Wands combined with the Ten of Cups in reverse, female freaking energy. And
Yeah.
Ten of Cups is familial bonds to me, like family. This to me would
Yeah.
be, that emotional connection of a family. And considering it's a queen, mother type figure, what happened to them? We have the devil in reversed, we have the star in reversed, and two of cups in reverse. Now, to
Mm.
me, what this is looking like would be pretty much that there was some type of boyfriend, some type of person that most likely the mother knew and that would have been involved with this, that there would have been some sort of plan. I don't know if she necessarily knew about exactly what would happen. What comes to mind
Hmm.
completely and consistently is like being sold into slavery.
I was just gonna say this. And with the star reversed, it's like they were drugged.
Yeah,
But I also, so I got this. This is funny because I pulled this card for our last story, but I got the dice and this B card.
yeah.
So it's like she was taking a chance with somebody in the community. This B card has a lot to do with work.
Mm-hmm.
So what you were saying, like about, and the justice card is making sense to me now because this could have been a contract that she's like, oh, I can get you these girls,
Yep,
or I have a chance to get these girls.
yep.
And it's sad because I feel like the mother is involved. Is she one of the ones that disappeared? So it was like
Yes.
the mother and two daughters. Okay.
No, mother, daughter, and the daughter's
And
best
friend.
friend.
Oh,
Yeah.
and her friend. Okay. So I wonder if this Cheryl Levitt kind of said, or was, maybe she got involved with the wrong people, or maybe a boyfriend or something like this. And it's like, I think they were promised like, oh, we can get you some work, but it wasn't work. It was slavery or sex work or something.
I would say like
Um,
sex trafficked, most likely, because
yeah. And
again,
then it's like
the
they
devil.
all, but maybe the mother got pulled into it too, thinking she
Yep,
wasn't.
yep,
Like I don't feel like it was her, she might not have had this intention, but she basically orchestrated the possibility of this happening
yep.
by, yeah, ignoring her own intuition with this chariot. And there is a King of Cups reverse coming up. So I mean, this could be the mother's energy of like her looking on the surface like everything's fine.
Mm-hmm.
When under the surface, it's like they have a drug problem or a drinking problem. They owe people money. Like there's something that's like that they don't feel right about it. Or this could also be a man that's stepping into the picture that was kind of promising one thing and delivering another. So I get that vibe from like the mother and the guy, though,
Yeah,
the third
I
party.
I think she knew more or less what was going to happen.
Okay.
I think she knew
And
more or less what was going to happen because as crazy, and that's like, oh, that's fucked up. Like that cannot be
uh,
true. I recently came across a story from Reddit that a girl, I mean, she's a girl, she's a woman grown up at this point, but I think like 15, 16, she found evidence of her dad sending like her pictures and measurements of weight and height to these random people like through email and
Oh,
stuff like that because
yeah.
I think it was at 18 she was supposed to be sold, sex trafficked basically to these people.
Wow.
So they were kind of looking for updates on the merchandise. So it's like a good thing that she found them when she did, because she was able to get help and get
Yeah.
away from them. But like this was literally her own father, like her
Yikes.
literal
Oh, wow.
blood that was doing that to her. So it's not
Yeah.
completely out there. I am still very, very convinced that we have specters, we have prudence coming through from the earth and bone. We have self-assurance, integrity, and clear-mindedness with prudence. So I believe that she knew what she was doing. And with the
Hmm.
specter, we have discernment, critical thinking, insight. So this was planned almost, not to the
Mm.
exact way it happened. As you said, like the mother, I don't believe she knew that she would be involved in the end, like, or taken. But I also get this aspect of another person being involved with this. Like, this was not just her. We have the Two of Cups. Actually, no, this is Seven of Cups. Sorry, I was misreading that number. Seven of Cups. That's kind of a mysteries, and then the moon right next to it in reverse. This is either
Ooh.
drugs, this is some sort of something being hidden and done in secret, and
Yeah.
definitely a sense of like not doing that alone. And then it's not what it looks like, them being kidnapped by somebody else. That's what the working theory is. It isn't what it looks like, so it's not that. And then with the devil, yeah, it feels like sex traffic, most likely being in that direction or going in that direction. And
Yeah.
it feels like part of something that's probably larger than maybe just like a small town thing that's,
Hmm.
connected throughout the state, or even throughout like the whole of United States on a larger scale. So it's probably not just Missouri or like one city, but like throughout a couple of different countries, if not even worldwide. It has that sort of feel of like, this is organized, this is on a large scale, but I get this sense of somebody else being involved with this. Basically, some sort of offer being given to her.
Yes.
And I kind of almost want to say maybe this was a blackmail of sorts for the mother,
Hmm.
of almost like love. Maybe this was somebody that she had fallen for, but they would be rejecting her or not wanting to be with her, or blackmailing her with something where she would end up being with this person if she obliged. I
Okay.
get that
Yeah.
sort of feeling as well, that that's a very strong possibility. That she did it because she hoped that she would not necessarily get money out of it, but some sort of romantic connection. So it could be somebody that, is using drugs, or is, in some sort of trouble with the law, or, doing illegal stuff, and basically blackmails her because she's head over heels for this person, or
Mm.
secretly seeing this person because she's not supposed to. And then they talk her into it, or even just, randomly invites them over and they decide to do that. Though, again, it feels like she was at least somewhat aware of what is going to happen or what could potentially happen.
Yeah.
It could have been, I feel like, avoided.
Yeah. Agree. Yeah, and that's the
One,
other thing, like if you're getting involved with, yeah, like drugs and stuff like this, it's like you can rack up a pretty big bill. And it's like if you owe somebody money, it's like, oh, we're gonna kill you, or we're gonna take your house, or there's like a lot of blackmail. That makes a lot of sense to me with kind of the cards that we got. It's kind of like,
Mhm.
okay, like if I bring you these girls, this clears my debt, or this makes me a bunch of money, or yeah, we can run away together. Yeah, I feel like the mother was promised some things, and yeah, it didn't quite pan out. I feel like she also got either killed or thrown into the trade. It's very sad because it's a little less like when you look at the 1990s. I'm sure all this stuff, can still happened, but it was a little less apparent that it was going on.
Mhm.
And I almost, even when we were talking about people being involved, I kept feeling like the cops might have also been paid off a little bit here. Like if there is an organized crime situation,
Yeah.
they have cops on their payroll too. And I feel like this case kind of stopped for that reason.
Yeah.
And that's just kind of like an intuitive kind of psychic hit. I didn't quite see
Hmm.
that in the cards, but it makes sense to me with kind of what's going on here. I don't know.
Yeah. 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 It would make sense. And, at the end of the day, for there to be no real signs of forced entry or
Yeah.
struggle, that's
Yeah.
another big thing. Like if one person is coming in and they're trying to kidnap somebody, that's one thing. But that unless you completely froze up,
Yeah.
you would fight back. So
Yeah.
things would be pushed around, things would be getting broken,
Yeah.
let alone considering two teenagers, well, young
Yeah.
adults, and
Yeah.
a grown ass woman in her 40s. There
Yeah.
would be freaking struggle. There would be things
Right.
flying around the house, some sort of indication that you're being taken by force. And or, that inside a house or outside a house, some sort of marks in the grass or on the pavement, something.
No, it's like they came back from a party at 2 in the morning. That mom could have said, "Here, hun, have a glass of water, get in bed, you and your friend, and there was something in the water. And
Yeah.
I feel like they were carried out. It was all planned for when they got back.
Yeah, because they were
Easily.
what I remember from the story is that they were supposed to go to this like end of the year party, if I'm not mistaken, and they basically decided to make a pit stop at I think it's Sherry, if I'm not mistaken, at Sherry's house because she was sort of halfway there or close by. So they didn't have to drive all the way there directly.
Oh,
And there was another friend that was supposed to be with them, but wasn't. And I think they were
mm,
actually supposed to be staying with that friend, but
wow.
that option ran out, so they came there. So it was almost like perfect opportunity, perfect time. I actually, interestingly, I wanted to maybe look into one other thing with this.
Mhm.
And if you want us to go deeper into this, any more details or any specific questions that you might want us to look into, we would definitely love to know that and do a part two or just an updated like we did with the Mat Riffe thing. I wanted to see if they're still alive because there is no
Oh,
evidence that they
yeah.
have actually been killed or murdered or something happening to them. And interestingly enough, the cards that I got is actually strength, three of cups, two of wands in reversed, and seven of pentacles.
Oh,
What I'm getting intuitively as well is like two of them might still be alive.
wow.
I don't think that they're dead.
Interesting. Yeah, like to me, that strength card and what was the second one you had?
Three of cups.
The three of cups. Yeah. Huh. So when I heard three of cups, I was thinking all three of them.
Yeah. Well,
But
the two of wands is sort of throwing
oh,
me
okay.
off.
So yeah. And the two of wands is like, yeah, they're still there. It's reversed, so it's like struggling. It feels like a struggle.
Yeah, because I mean, this is 1992, right?
Yeah.
Sherry was 43 at that point, right? The mother,
40, 47.
47, sorry. So considering that, she would at this point be what, 70
Six-
years
in their-
old?
Yeah, in her 60s. Yeah.
Late 60s, early 70s,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So to me, that's like, I don't know if it was sex trafficking, which is what it seems to be, what use would they have for her at this point in
But
her late 60s?
maybe they escaped from it and changed their names or something. It's weird because maybe I don't know, maybe just the mom
Yeah, strength
survived. I
card.
don't know.
The strength
Yeah.
card, yeah, that could be like surviving that trial by fire, quite literally, surviving the terror.
Yeah, I kind of almost feel like Cheryl and Susie survived,
Okay,
and the friend Stacy, I don't think she's still around.
okay.
And the reason being, I got three of Pentacles reversed for Cheryl.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, it's like, yes, she still is, yeah, creating a legacy. It's not what she wanted. It's not what she pictured to build. It's not her best. It's not
Yeah.
like I'm living my best life here. And then I got 10 of swords for Susie.
Okay, yeah.
So to me, like that's not really a death card. Like that's a I'm still living with all of this heaviness, this burden, this
Mm-hmm.
heartache, mental, I mean, this very mental heavy load. And then for McCall, Stacy, I got 8 of cups, like she moved on. So this could be in spirit, like she rose above that shit, or I mean, she could have escaped, but I feel like she didn't escape with her life. I feel like
Okay.
she found peace and in her afterlife. But I feel like these other two could it's strange to me that if Susie, the daughter, survived, that she wouldn't be able to kind of speak out or realize what happened or whatnot. Like maybe she does feel trapped still somehow,
Yeah.
but yeah, trapped in her own turmoil. It's a weird situation, right? Because she could still be like, oh, maybe she found someone and they ran away together, like she's escaped it, but she's still dealing with it all.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
maybe the situation is a little bit better than what she was, but it's still shitty. Like it's she's still trapped. It's hard to say, but she feels very like not living, not thriving. Yeah, I don't know what you got there.
Yeah, I would agree with that because it feels like for Cheryl, I got the 10 of Wands, Suzanne Susie. I got the 6 of Cups. So this is like literally living with the past, being reminded consistently of what's happened and sort of living with the burden of that. And then, with the mother, I feel like the 10 of Wands is the burden of it all, the burden of the decision being made, the burden of choices and how things were handled, but still sort of living with that aspect, with that regret. So to me, that's very much alive. And then the friend, Stacy, I actually got the Two of Swords. Now, in this Two of Swords particular deck that I'm using, the Barbieri Tarot, you have this image where she has a ribbon around her arm. I don't know if you can see that, Alex, on your end. And the water around her is bloody as well. Now, on the first glance, to me, and the way that she's positioned sort of looks like she's cut her wrists, basically. Like she decided that she needed to get out. So to me, this is like a decision was made that would prevent her further suffering. So I don't necessarily even think that she was killed or murdered by these people that she was surrounded with at the time. It actually feels like she might have gotten the opportunity to do it herself in order to
Mm,
escape.
okay. Yeah, that if you put that card together with the 8 of cups, it's interesting, right? Like in that blood in the water.
Yep. Because
Yeah.
in this deck, the way that it's explained, like you have, it's barely visible, but like behind the figure, like it's a woman. You have this basically army that's standing around her in the fog, in the shadows. And she's
Mm.
basically the way that it's described in the energy and the archetype of the card is I'm taking a moment to make a decision and then I'm going to go into a fight. So to me, this gives a sense of like people observing, being around her, consistently asking something or requesting something from her, and her taking that moment when she had the opportunity and making the decision for herself like this is not the life that I want to live. Out of the three of them, again, it's a very similar thing that you to what you got. It's like I'm dealing with this, I'm dealing with the pain and dealing with the past, and then she's like I'm exempt of it, not in the sense
Mm.
that I haven't lived it, but where I'm no longer suffering because of it.
Yeah, makes sense. Very interesting. That
Yeah,
took a turn. That took a
that
turn.
that took a very very turn, very very big turn. Sorry, that took a
Yeah,
turn.
yeah,
That's something. I think that like that's two like major things that I wanted to look into. I think with this, like that's
yeah.
I think that's pretty much it.
Yeah, that's
um,
cool. It's really interesting to do this too, kind of like right off the cuff, because I didn't look at this story at all yet
yeah,
before we started talking. So just, yeah, it's very raw, like, and very simple what came up for us.
yep.
So
You
it
sort of
just feels
get
very clear.
exactly you get sort of first impressions, not expressions. Because I heard the story I guess like a year and a half ago. I came across it on one podcast, and it stuck with me for a bit, but then I completely forgot about it. And then as I was researching topics and interesting cases for us to take a dive in, I came across this and I'm like, that sounds familiar. I read the synopsis and I'm like, oh yeah, I know this case. So, but I think it's interesting that you didn't get the chance to
Mm,
look into it beforehand, and we are still tit for tat when it comes to the answers that we get. Like we're pretty much getting
yeah.
very same thing or very similar things that complement each other. So again,
So cool.
if anybody has any questions or any other interesting things in regards to this case in particular, that you would want us to look into, definitely let us know. Comment down below. Reach out to us on social media. We do have an official divination detectives Instagram. I think it's divination_detectives, right? On
Uh,
is it?
no underscore.
No underscore,
Just
just Divination Detectives. There we go. My mistake. So just Divination Detectives. You can find Alex on Guiding Tarot and myself on Tarot Shuffle or Tarot_Shuffle. That's where I got the underscore
yeah.
from. And yeah, do let us know any other cases that you might be fascinated with or that you've looked into and it's like, I cannot crack this one. I don't know what happened here, but I would like to know. If you have something like that, if you have any interesting, weird, or odd stories that you would like to share with us, any alien mysteries, whatever, just let us know. Any real experiences that you might want a bit more look into as well. I think that could be fun. That you might have either paranormal or just weird and odd, and it's like this could be something, but I don't know whether it's not. Let us know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I guess catch you in the next one.
All right. Bye
Bye.
bye.